Hey, this is OXDF. Python is my favorite programming language, but it's also an incredibly common language for all kinds of tools and scripts and applications that you're likely to run into working in information security, or I'm sure a lot of other fields. If you're anything like me, you're going to have to download these nicely packaged tools and install them, or work with these not so nicely packaged scripts. You're going to be finding them on GitHub, and you're going to need a way to run them. And there's a best way to do that in 2025, and that is using UV. There's a lot of documentation out there and tutorials that are more focused on developers, people who are building applications in libraries, and not as many focused on people who just need to run the one-off stuff. So in this video, we're going to start with a quick overview of what UV is, how to install it. From there, we're going to move to how do we install a standalone package, something that's nicely put together, something I would have typically used pipx for in the past. We'll take a quick tangent from there and look at different versions of Python and how easy it is to move between versions of Python, letting UV manage those versions. Then we'll come back to the not so nicely packaged script that has maybe a requirements.txt file, and how can we install that, or well, how can we run that? And then how can we kind of fake install it so that we can access it in the future without knowing the full path or worrying about where it is in the file system. Finally, we'll take a little peek at how UV is operating under the hood. When you leave this video, you should be comfortable installing Python tools on your system and working with them. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right, let's start by taking a look at the UV GitHub page. You can see scrolling down here, it's an extremely fast Python package and project manager written in Rust. It's got it does a lot. It does a lot more than I'm going to need for my general day-to-day. But it replaces pip tools, pipx, poetry, pyenv, twine, virtualenv, and more. Let's see, it can run scripts with support for inline dependency metadata. We're going to talk about that. It installs and manages Python versions. We're going to talk about that. It runs and installs tools published as Python packages. We're going to talk about that. It's also just really fast. It's a really nice tool. I think once you get the hang of it, you're really going to like it. As far as installation, where you can do it with this curl command right here, I've already run it. If you're on Windows, there's a PowerShell command. In theory, you can also install it from pip. My understanding is that it's better to install with the curl command. I'm not 100% sure why. I've just heard that in certain places, so do with that as you will. I've already got it installed, so I'm not going to mess with that there. I will show you can do UV self update, and it will check for updates and see then I'm already on the latest version, so that's good. Let's talk about installing a tool. Let's do pipx list and see what I've got installed with pipx. Let's just pick SSH shuttle. So, or S shuttle, I don't know how you say it, SSHUTTLE. And this is a proxy server. Again, what this exactly is, not super important. What matters about it is, if we scroll down here, there's a pyproject.toml. This is a well-defined package, something I would have installed with pipx before. You can see down here in the pyproject.toml, the project scripts is going to set the command SSH or sshuttle, however you say it, is going to be find the sshuttle.command line file, find the main function, and run that. And what that's going to do is allow it, run this program. I think I've got that already running. So if I do ssh I run it here and I get the help. Let's go ahead and do pipx uninstall shuttle. Great. Now we're going to do UV. To do that, we're going to do UV tool install ssh shuttle like that. And this is going to go to pip, Python packaging index, and get the pypy, the Python packaging index. Find the thing called the package called SSH shuttle and install it. You can do things like install directly from GitHub here. You can do things like installing local packages. It's just like running pipx, basically. Anytime you would run pipx, you can do UV tool and the same commands. It installed very quickly. You can see that. And now I have SSH shuttle. I can run it just like I could before. This is where we take a quick aside to talk about Python versions. Let's say that for whatever reason, I thought SSH shuttle really runs better under, it's got some features. The newest version has some that haven't, for whatever reason, it requires Python 3.13. We can do UV Python list, and it'll show me all the Pythons available to UV. And you can see that runs from 3.14, which I believe is not releasing till this fall, all the way down through 3.7, which is, I guess, still supported. And so if I wanted to do, let's say, let's do UV tool uninstall SSH shuttle like that. And now we're going to go back up here and install it. This time we're going to say Python, and we'll say 3.13. We'll get the newest released one. In those 7 milliseconds, not only did it install, but it also got Python 3.13 for me and made it available for that tool. If we do the list now, we can see it is available now within this local share Python. It's now managing it for us, and it's available to the environments that need it. That's super cool. I can always, if I don't like this, I can always remove it. If I do Python, let's see, uv Python uninstall 3.13, and then do my list. It's gone now. Now my SSH shuttle is probably broken too, so I probably want to fix that. And I can just do that by, let's see, uv Python. We'll say uv tool install sshuttoa, and it's probably going to be back now. Boom. So I fixed it there. Let's talk about one-off scripts now. That's where I run into this the most. And I ran into this yesterday, actually. I was working on something where I needed access to targeted curb roast. Again, what the script does doesn't matter, but it's a script. And you can look, if we look at this, these folders don't really have anything in them. The only Python code is in this one folder, or one file. You run the file, it does the thing. It's a few hundred lines. It's got a requirement.txt because there are 5 packages that are necessary to run it. If I don't have those packages installed, it's not going to run well. So we will grab this. Let's go ahead and grab the whole repo. And I will come back here and do a git clone here. And I've now cloned it here. If I go into the directory, you can see I've got access to it. We can cat requirements.txt and see we've got it there. If I try to just run Python targeted curb roast, it's not going to work. Before I found UV, what I would have done is, and we'll go ahead and just do it, Python -m venv, and then to create so I'm going to run the venv module, and I'm going to tell it to create a folder called venv. Now this takes a minute because it's creating that. Okay, now I will source venv bin activate, and now I'm going to be working out of this thing. So when I do pip install -r requirements.txt, it's going to go out and get all the packages in that requirements.txt and install them into the virtual environment. It takes a minute. You can see it's hanging here. Okay, now if I look inside the virtual environment, I can see this is the virtual environment lib site packages. You can see here's the different things. What do we need to install? I think impacket was here. So there's impacket is installed. These are the different packages that got installed from that requirement.txt. It's more than just those 5 because each of those 5 had dependencies as well. They're all here. Now if I run Python targeted curb roast, it runs. It errors out because I didn't call it correctly, but it runs the script, and that's what we wanted. Let's go ahead and deactivate, and we'll remove -rf venv. And now if we try to run this again, it's not going to work. If we try running it locally, just like that, it's still not going to work. We need the requirements. So we're going to do uv add script targeted curb roast, and then we're going to give it -r requirements.txt. You could also do, if you didn't, instead of -r requirements.txt, I could have done the individual things there. So I could have done impacket, etc. And what that did is it takes targeted curb roast and it adds the inline metadata that was for the dependencies to the script. So the script file itself now has, here are the dependencies necessary to run. It's likely if this catches on, this is a new PEP. PEPs are the things that define how the Python language evolves. And there was a new PEP pretty recently that defined this inline metadata. If it catches on, you might just see things start having this, and then you won't have to even use the command I just did. It'll just be there. Instead of having a requirements.txt, you just put it in line. But now, once this is here, I can say uv run targeted curb roast, and you may have caught that blink right there, that 25 milliseconds, where maybe it's almost a second. It was creating the virtual environment, installing all of the dependencies, and then it ran the script for me. If I run it again, it'll just run instantly because now it's not doing that installation there. That's super cool and that's super fast, and that allows me to just run it. What if I wanted to run this more often though? Like right now, if I try to run it, I have to know where it is on the file system. I have to find this file and run it. I have to find this file and UV run it. But what I can do is actually edit the shebang. So if I come in here to targeted curb roast, and the first line up here is called the shebang. And right now it's saying use the environment program to find the copy of Python 3 and run it. We're going to get rid of that, and we're going to give it a -s uv run script. And now we're telling it we want you to run this with uv run. And so we come here and we do, now if we run this locally, by just calling it rather than calling it with uv, it will use that shebang. The operating system uses the shebang to find what to run it, and it will run. If we had left the shebang as Python, it would not, because it would have just found Python 3. Those things are not installed in the global package index and or package system on my file on my OS, and it would have just failed. Now that I have that working, well, if I want to run this more regularly, what I can do is I can actually copy this. So targeted, because everything I need is in this file, to something like, we'll say, .local bin, like that. And now, if I just run targeted Kerberos like that, it tab completes because my system is recognizing it's the executable binary in my path. If I run that, it installed again, but it ran. Now, the reason it installed again is because in a new path, it's going to get a new virtual environment. It's basically just saying, I want to be super safe. If you have two scripts named targeted Kerberos in different files, they may be completely different. They may have completely different dependencies. So I'm just going to basically track the whole path. And if it's in a different path, I'm going to get a different virtual environment for it. But now that I've done that, if I run it again, it's just going to work. It's going to work every time. So I think that's super cool. One got you with this is that this script is literally one file. If you have some Python scripts that are maybe bigger projects, but they're still not like an installation, but they rely on different files and reading off different places, you're probably not going to be able to do that, because when you run this, it's going to try to import from like in the same folder or from a subfolder, and it's going to fail. So your mileage may vary on this kind of installation, but where it does work, it's super cool. And now I've just got this. Next time I need to run targeted Kerberos, I can just run it. Last thing I want to just take a quick look at is how this actually works. So we'll go to my cache directory and cd uv, and this is where uv manages stuff. So if we go into the environments, these are the different virtual environments that have been created by uv. And so you can see I've got two targeted Kerberos here because I have one from my local bin directory and one from my whatever it was, uv targeted Kerberos directory. If we go into one of those and we look at, let's say like that, we come here, this is exactly the same thing I saw in the virtual environment earlier. If I look in lib, Python site packages, again, here's the same set of stuff. So this is just the exact same built-in virtual environment, just managed by UV, put in a specific place by UV, and I don't have to worry about it. I think this is super nice. If you're using Python stuff, hopefully this video helped you with your workflows and just managing it and not having to worry about it. Tools like Impacket that I use all the time that install 100 little files. If I have that, they're just, all those little scripts just become part of my path. They become managed. I don't have to worry about them. It's super helpful. So I love it. You should use it. It's great. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I will talk to you next time. Dave.